Well, good morning, fearless followers. It's Josh, and I'm here with your word of the day. And we're looking in Acts 4, where the apostles continue to testify to the resurrection of Jesus. And then we read this really cool phrase that the grace of God was so powerfully at work among them, or within them, depending on the translation you're looking at. And this verse is going to go on. Section is going to go on to say that they cared for the needs of the people around them, that they were generous. But it starts with the resurrection and the grace of God. And what Luke is doing here is he is tying us to the motivation for our generosity, the motivation for caring for others. We don't do it out of some sort of accolade for ourselves. We actually don't even do it because it feels good, although it can feel good. It can feel good to help others and be generous. But it can also be really hard. It can require sacrifice, as we'll learn this week. But the key here is that Jesus died and rose again. And his gift to us, his grace freely given, becomes the motivation for us to be generous with others. His work at doing everything he could to reconcile us, including giving up his life, becomes the motivation for our generosity to others. Tim Keller says that grace is the motivator for generosity, that this gift freely given to us in Christ is what spurs us on to give freely to others. And I think that's the challenge. Grace is hard. Grace cost Jesus his life. Grace costs us something as well when we give freely to another. It can be difficult. It can be a challenge. There's this whole component of dying to self, dying to our own needs, putting others' needs before our own. That is just so what seems to be counterintuitive to human beings. And yet, this is what we see in the church. This is what we see in Jesus. This is what it means to be a follower, to fearlessly follow and make him known, to give out of grace and gratitude for that grace. And so I think that's the challenge today. How can we be a little more gracious? How can we see our opportunity to be generous as a reflection of our gratitude for the grace that God has shown us? How can he work in and through us to do something greater than we could ever do on our own in our acts of faith and surrender and generosity? There's the word. That's today. I'm going inside because it's a little chilly.